And this is why they're tweaking the laws dealing with real estate and land. This is why they're trying to convince you that you will own nothing and be happy. All of this is to keep you trapped, because if you don't own anything, you're really a slave till you die. If you don't at least own your land, you are through. If you don't at least own your home, this is why they got property taxes. Property taxes is not about schooling and police and all that stuff and fire. They are lying to you, bro. Property taxes is to justify you having to constantly pay for a house that you may even own outright, so they can take it from you. They don't say, well, you don't pay your property taxes, your kids can't go to school, or if your house burned, the fire department is not going to come put the fire out. They don't say that. They take your home from you. This is not legal, man. This is not right. So they keep us trapped in the system of needing money. And as long as you need money, you got to figure out some way to bring money in. So don't sit here and brag like you have a job and you so proud and I got a job. A real man works. No, real men don't work, bro. We work because we have to. A real man is not lazy anyway. A real man will do all kinds of stuff. Real man will have all kinds of things that he's into. But the problem is we don't know what we like to be into because we never had a choice. We are raised and pushed and herded into a slaughterhouse. And what you do is when you get to that slaughterhouse, you turn around and try to make it sound like, no, I'm here voluntarily. I am right where I wanted to be. No, you're not, bro. No, you're not. You're right where they put us. And the second you admit that, we can start working together to get off this system. Everything I'm about to say, you already know it to be true. You are a slave. You are a slave to money, to social economics, to status, to politics, to ideology. You have sold your soul to have a place in a world order that you should naturally oppose. I thought about something a little while ago. I'm working on something called the Black Papers. It's going to be released on my blog. It's like short essays, right, based on real deep stuff, right? And one of them is called the Pimp Doctrine. Pimp stands for prudence and intelligence leads to masculine perseverance. That's prudence and intelligence leads to masculine perseverance. The Pimp Doctrine. And in the Pimp Doctrine, I happen to mention something, and that is the irony of the so-called red pill community, right? The irony of these dudes wanting social economics to be the thing that their manhood is measured by. The problem is, these are the very things that take away your manhood. As a man's supposed to have a certain degree of independence and autonomy. You can't have that if you are within a structure that you don't control. And we don't control social economics. We are beholden to it. We don't control jobs and everything. Guys got mad at me before. I mentioned this before on older videos, and there was a lot of pushback because you don't want to face the fact that you don't control your income. When these jobs pick you, they pick you for their own reasons. And then when you get these jobs, now you are basically slaves to the job. You need the job. You like the status that you think this job gives you. You like the prestige you think this job gives you. But what comes with that is that the verbal abuse, the stress, the fear of getting fired. Now you got to jump through hoops. You're walking on eggshells. How can you be a man if you got to walk around like that? How can you be a man? Now, see, I know a lot of these YouTube guys that pump this stuff in your head. They are making money off of y'all. You see, that's one of the oddest things I always found about these leaders of stuff, right? The prominent figures of stuff, like organizational leaders, religious leaders, especially like those like Minister Farrakhan is always talking about getting up and doing for self and this and that. But he actually lives off the donations of you. He don't do anything for self. He lives off of your generosity. He flies private planes off of your generosity. He rides in limos off of your generosity. He lives in mansions off of your generosity. But he tells you how you need to get up and do more, how you need to stop being lazy, how you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do this. But truthfully, he lives off of you. And it's the same thing inside these YouTube spaces. So my point is, how can you be a man when you're dependent on money? You can't be. The very things that y'all are telling young men to use to define themselves as men actually strip away their manhood. You cannot be a man if you got to be on a job walking on eggshells because you need the job. You getting passive aggressively bullied by your managers or your boss. You getting talked to crazy. You gotta eat a whole bunch of crap that you don't want to eat and swallow it down. You know, you got to deal with a whole bunch of stuff you don't want to deal with. Your wife might have a job, but she's being sexually objectified on the job. You can't do nothing about it because y'all need her to have that job. You can't even protect your woman. You can't protect the girl that you love because she needs that job. You got men looking at her, trying to touch on her, slick side rubbing up against her. There's nothing she can do. She might even have to sleep with some of these dudes. She just can't tell you. Because she's trying to keep the job also because they need the job. So she's screwing managers and everything behind your back because she know y'all need the damn job. You can't be a man inside a system like this. And the crazy thing is that y'all think this system is what gives you your manhood. Y'all got the game all backwards. You got the game all backwards. One day y'all are going to learn that this stuff here is wrong, that everything y'all say is wrong. You're being taught to value the very things that take away everything that makes you a man. This is why I tell you that a woman better not try to measure me by any of that stuff. You're going to measure me by what's in here, not by what's out here. You know what I'm saying? By what's in here. Not by the car I drive, not by where I live, not by how much money I make, not by the college degree I have or don't have. You're not going to measure me by none of that stuff. I am a man. I am not those things. I am a man. So a lot of y'all don't have this kind of teaching. Y'all are focusing on things that take away your manhood, and then you get online and you become demanding as to what a woman must do and how a woman must be, when you yourself have to cower at work to your managers, to your bosses, because you are afraid to lose that job. You get told to do something, you got to do it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to call somebody sir. Look, I had a job for about 2 weeks, man, right before I started my business when I came out the joint. And it was at some kind of pipe threading company or something like that. I can't remember, some kind of factory, right? Small factory down in New Orleans. And I was literally there about two and a half weeks. And I remember one day, early in the morning, we were sitting around waiting for, everything to get started, waiting for the instructions to come down. Because a lot of times you don't really, you got to get those orders in and you got to start working on those orders. So you're kind of just sitting around. And I remember the white man came in, the boss, right, the manager. He came in and he just stood there and looked. Now, all us black, basically, that's working, right? He came and he stood there and he just looked. He didn't say a word. He just looked. And all these Negroes started scrambling. Jumped up and started moving around and pretending like they doing something, started picking stuff up and shifting stuff around. And I'm sitting here looking like, what are y'all jumping around for? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? I look over and I see the white man standing there just looking. He didn't say a word. He just stood there and looked, and all these Negroes started jumping up and moving around and stood, and I'm still sitting there. And when I looked at him, I let him see me seeing him, and I still sat there. I looked at him, we caught eyes for a second, and I turned my head and I just sat there. So naturally, a few minutes go by, he comes over there and asks me what I'm doing. So I'm waiting on instructions. You haven't told me what to do yet. You know what I'm saying? What you want me to do? I'm waiting on instructions. He didn't know what to say. But the point is, the rest of these males, right? These are men with children that gotta scramble, that got wives and stuff. They gotta scramble at a white man standing there looking at them. Didn't say a word. They just jump up and start doing stuff to look busy. You are a slave. You can't be a man within a system like that, bro. The point is, it shows that you are not a man when you gotta act like that just to have a job. So the very things that y'all think measure you and define you as a man actually strips away your manhood. You can't be a man if you can't do things on your terms. When you gotta get up, you have to get up and drive and get ready and commute to that job. You're not a man. Working doesn't make you a man. You're doing what you have to do to survive. And you're trying to twist it and put a spin on it as if, nah, I'm doing it, man, because I'm a man. Men work. No, work. What is work? Why do we work? Why do we even have jobs? What is the point of working? Most of the stuff that we do collectively as human beings is destructive to ourselves and the planet. I'm gonna say it again. Most of the stuff that we do as human beings collectively is destructive to ourselves and the planet. So what is the point of all this stuff? Only a few people benefit off this. All this stuff is control mechanisms, man. That's all it is. We work to maintain the system. That's what we do. We work to maintain the system that we are enslaved to. And we brag about it in the end. We try to put a polite spin on it. No, real man works. Work for what? What's the point of a job? You work because we need money. We need money because that's the way the system is designed. We don't work because work defines you as a man. We work because we have to. And you don't want to admit that, because if you got to admit that you only work because you have to, then you would have to admit that you're not a man. Now, I'm not trying to make you feel bad about having a job, because like I said, it is what it is. This is what we're stuck in. This is what we are trapped in. But I do need you to start thinking about how to get off of this system. How do we work together to collectively get away from this madness so that we can start actually living for ourselves? They have us in the system basically, man, from the time we are 5 years old until the time that we are like 65, 66, 67 years old. Think about that, people. They got us locked in for at least 60 years of our lives. And we are expected to die at 70. Life expectancy is 70, and they got us locked in for at least 60, 65 years of our life. That's school on up to job. School is a part of the system too. You go to school all day. You got homework all day. You don't have a life. School is a part of the system. They're conditioning you via school to become a worker. They are getting you used to the fact that you have no life outside of doing what you are told to do, doing what you have to do. So you can't sit here and try to put a polite spin on having a job, because you don't have that job because you want a job. You have that job because you need to have a job, because you need to make money. You're either gonna work a job, you're gonna try to find a business for yourself. Either way it go, you gotta make money. And we gotta make money because that's the system that we're trapped in. We need money to buy the things that the earth provides to us for free. So next time, bro, stop bragging about what you do for a living. Stop trying to define yourself by social economics. Don't do that, my brother. If you're a man, define yourself by what's in here. Because if you really had a God consciousness, you would understand that how we live is so wrong in so many ways that it's not even funny. That's real talk. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, I'm out of here. I'm Brother Kush, aka the Blackout. Salam.